Hey, Josh. How you
Hey,
doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, can't complain. I guess I could, but that would be whining. So I don't want to do that.
Oh, I completely understand that. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview. We were able to talk about 4 years ago.
Yeah,
For the last. Yeah,
I was looking at the timeline on my text, and it was like 2017, right?
yeah. Yeah, I was talking about the last Operation Mindcrime album, and it was great to be able to talk then, and it's great to be able to talk about some brand new music from a newer project since then with Sweet Oblivion.
Yeah. Well, what can I tell you?
Oh, well, of course, it's coming out April 9th through Frontiers Music, and it's great to see this project continuing on. I really love the first album, and it's great to see all the changes that did happen with the band, because it really feels like Relentless is a very stronger album. I love the variety that's going on with it, and of course, your impeccable vocals on it. I mean, it's just soaring from start to finish.
Oh, thanks.
No, not a problem. So, with that in mind, I mean, what's it like releasing an album in this kind of environment right now?
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a lot to do with that. You know, I just work on the music. You know, and then Frontiers kind of does all the other stuff that goes with releasing it. You know, so I just am on the phone talking with people about it, and I don't know what it is, but people have been calling me like at all hours of the day, night. For some reason, the schedule's all crazy right now. With I don't know what it is. Time zones change or something, and people freak out. I don't know. I got people calling me at midnight. Okay, well, I'm ready for the interview. I don't think that's till Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy.
oh,
I don't mind. It makes it interesting, at least.
oh,
Relieves the insane boredom from not being touring, so like anything to relieve the boring.
yeah, that's what I was going to say about this album. I mean, I'm glad to see that it is still coming out. I know with last year and still going on to this year, a lot of musicians are holding back on releasing albums, and I've been waiting for a new album of yours in some capacity to be able to come out, and I'm glad to be able to check this out, because especially on a day like having here over in Minnesota, it's like a very dark, cloudy day, a little bit of rain going on. It feels like a great soundtrack to be able to have that with the weather going on, and of course with the world around us too. I mean, it's just great to be able to have some music to escape from that.
Yeah, I hear you. Sounds like you're next door to me, because that's the same kind of weather description you have in Seattle right now.
Oh, wow.
It's dark and cold and very windy. Really super windy. Strange.
Oh, totally. Yeah. But again with that, it's just like I'm very happy to see this album coming out, and it's just like it's like I was saying, it's great to be able to hear you singing on an album again like this with Sweet Oblivion, and just being able to see like the songwriting that's going along with it, and hearing your vocals along with it. I mean, I always like it when you do a guest spot or you're able to start a new project, and you're always able to work with all these amazing talented musicians, and you're always able to find some right chemistry to be able to release some great material that way.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad you like it.
So, thinking about that, I mean, how do you feel about the music this time around? I mean, what was it like to be able to sing on this album?
Well, it was a very enjoyable process. Albert and I got along very well via email and text, and it was great. He was in Italy and I was in Ireland, and working on the project, and we got to meet in the virtual world of the internet and pass files back and forth and build out the project remotely, which was pretty much how I did the last Sweet Oblivion album with Simone, same kind of setup. And it works really well. It's really an efficient way of working that I like. There's not a lot of downtime. It's more when you do work, you're working, on the project itself, rather than spending, eons of time socializing, storytelling, which is easy to do after a while of, being in the music business and touring and being in it for a while, you have so many stories that it's just never ending. You know?
Oh, I can only imagine. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing what we can do with technology these days. It's just like not even being on the same continent and being able to work together and being able to make music together with people around the world. And just like the fact you were over in Ireland and being able to do this. I mean, how is that for you? Like when you're able to travel around the world and you're able to record, what's that like for? Do you get like different inspirations or anything when you go to a different kind of studio in a different country, or does it start to feel the same after a while?
No, I take my studio everywhere I go, and so I can set up anywhere, and it's great because I can change up the vibe of my environment whenever I want. To be in a city and soak up the energy of that place. Hike around, do urban hiking for the day, come in and write all night. And then I can change it up and head out to the country like I did in Ireland. My wife and I rented this cottage on this hilltop with this magnificent view you can just see forever. And sat up there for 3 months, just made music and drank wine and socialized with our friends and went hiking around the West Cork area of the Wild Atlantic Way. And it was just beautiful and very inspirational to be in that kind of place and still be able to work.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say, like, with the landscapes that you have in Ireland, I mean, it's got to be hard just not to be inspired by life in general, being able to see the beautiful landscapes that's going on there, and of course, having friends out there too, and being able to be in a environment where you can feel calm and peaceful, and just being able to feel like yourself, and then when the time comes to be able to record, you're that much more refreshed.
Yeah, it is. You're not worried about survival, Like a lot of times, I'm sure you've probably been to studios in the inner city, and oh my God, it's so rough, and it's actually quite off-putting to be in some of these places, and it's dark and dingy and dirty and smelly, and oh my God, why would you want to spend any time there? There's not even any windows, to see out. So, yeah, it's nice to be in an environment that you pick and that you feel comfortable in. So you don't have to worry about all that other stuff. You can just get into being creative,
Oh, for sure. And I mean, that sounds incredible with that setup and everything going into it. And you're absolutely right. And with being a drummer myself, and just like making sure you have everything set up and trying to do it fast because you're on the clock, and and then the environment around you, it's like you don't necessarily feel comfortable all the time. So when you do find that comfortable environment, I think it really comes through with the recordings that you do. And I can definitely hear that throughout Relentless too. I mean, despite what the name is, I mean, it does really feel like you're in your element here, and it doesn't feel like you're forced to be able to do this. I mean, it all comes off very sounding very natural for you.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's great to see that you're actually able to film a video for this as well too. I mean, I know it's harder to be able to make videos in these days and age, and especially with what's been going on in the world since last year. But I'm glad to see that there was an actual video that actually came out for Another Change.
Yeah. I think we just shot that I guess last month. I guess it was. Yeah. It was snowing. Yeah, it was challenging being in the snow. Trying to not get the inevitable red nose, or what's worse is the runny nose.
Oh yeah, it's so true. I mean, especially with where I live in Minnesota too, it's like I'm so used to that with the snow, and I'm finally getting rid of the snow just a couple weeks ago, and finally being able to see grass again. So yeah, I can imagine within the last month, just like making sure that you're going to be comfortable and being in that environment, especially if you have to do more than one take of something. And yeah, I mean, I really love the way that it came out too. I mean, I think it just looks so beautiful with the snow part of it, and yeah, I just really love the way that turned out.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, sure thing. And, another great thing aesthetically that's going along with it, too, is I really feel like the album cover really matches the tone of the album as well, too. I love the dissipation that's going on with it and the erosion that's going on with the statue. I think it's a great compliment to the album.
Yeah, I think all the songs have to do with time. in some manner. And that the idea is, time is relentless. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going no matter what. We are here now for a brief moment, and when we're gone, it won't make a difference. It'll just be more of the same, moving on, moving ahead, relentless.
Yeah, that is the sad reality of it all, and I think that's all the more reason to be able to try to enjoy life while you're here too. I mean, obviously there's with what we're in right now, there's a lot of negativity and bad feelings and mental feelings going on in the world right now. But the fact that we're still able to live right now, and we will see the other side of this, and of course, yourself getting back into touring coming up, hopefully within the end of the year, with summer and fall, with some amazing touring that's going to be coming up. I mean, it's great to be able to enjoy that while you can.
Yeah, it's kind of like going back a couple seconds to what you just said. It's a matter of perspective, I think. We oftentimes tend to see things from our ego standpoint, where we're frustrated and angry because we can't do what we want to do. We can't conduct our business the way we're used to working at it. And, we don't have the same freedom of movement that we did. And, it's really about how you look at that. I've been trying to work on that with myself and looking at things in a bit more of a positive way. And, I gotta tell you, Josh, I really enjoyed being home and not being touring. I could do this forever,
Oh,
touring is hard. It's a lot of work, and it's taxing on your body and your spirit, your mind. In fact, it's a strange phenomenon. When you tour, the world changes and keeps moving ahead and doing things, but you don't. You play that same show for a year and a half or whatever it takes, and it's like you don't evolve, you don't change. And there's subtle changes, I guess, to the performance every night, but really it's you're doing the same thing, So I've been really enjoying time off from touring and being home and connecting to my family and seeing spending time with my grandchildren who I don't even know, I'm just starting to get to know them now. I got a new grandson on the way. He's getting born next month. Can't wait for that. Spending time with my daughters, who I hardly ever saw because I was always touring. And I've just really been enjoying it.
Oh, that just sounds so beautiful too. I mean, I've done so many interviews over the past year, being able to talk about this, and just like you were saying, just being able to enjoy that time off. And, it's just like, obviously, the source of income, being able to show off new material, being able to show off new recordings, but there's really something to be said to be able to be at home and be with your family. And that's so great to see that, despite these times, you're able to make the most of it when it comes to family. You're able to spend the time with your kids and your grandkids and your upcoming grandchild as well, too. Congratulations with that for the next time with that coming up as well, too. And, just being able to spend that time and being able to really appreciate the family you have. And I can only hope in the future there's some way to be able to not make touring so mandatory for people, because it really can wear you out mentally and physically and tear you apart when it comes to families, depending on the situations. And if there's some way to be able to balance your home life and work life like that, I mean, I really hope that can be obtainable for so many musicians coming up.
Well, I think it can be. I think it's just a matter of choice, really. Nobody's making you, spend all that time on the road. You do it to yourself. You get locked into this ideal and this way of doing things. And so much of it is ego driven. Oh my God. Like you said it yourself, showing off new material, showing off your musical skills. And is that really what it's all about? Is that why we do it as musicians, to show off? I never really thought of it like that. I didn't think I was doing that. I thought I was just pretty much interpreting my emotional response to my life. I thought that was my reason for doing it. But, maybe it was. I was just showing off the whole time.
Oh, well, what I meant by that was just like, obviously being able to promote that you have new material out there and being able to sing those classics and being able to, enjoy that fan connection that you have as well, too. I mean, obviously, if you have the chops, being able to portray that in that live setting is so important, and it's a different way to be able to experience the songs that you wrote and the fans are able to enjoy as well too. I do find that to be such a great aspect of being a musician. But just going back to what you were saying before too, about like the home life, and just if when you can find that balance of being able to afford being able to go on the road, or being able to afford taking some time off. I mean, it comes with that mental capacity of making sure that you can balance everything in life. That's what it really comes down to, is just balancing your life out.
Yeah, it probably does just come down to that, deciding what's really important to you and what's not. Yeah, I think that coming to terms with what it is you do, what that means to you, is real important. Questioning that, like getting back to the term "show off," a lot of it is that. We're all like showing off for the audience, and most musicians, I think, come from I can't speak for everybody, but in my experience, it seems a lot of us are very insecure people, and so we get boosted up by the applause. We need to hear it, and then we get feeling out of sorts when we don't hear it for long periods of time. And I bet there's probably a lot of musicians in therapy right now over the COVID situation, because we haven't been able to get out there and get our fix, of applause.
Oh, it's so true. And that is such a great feeling too. I mean, no matter what you're playing, as long as like you can get that reception back from the audience, and you're able to boost your ego that way, knowing that you are going in the right direction, people are enjoying what you're doing, and that's why they keep coming out to shows, they keep buying albums, hopefully buying merchandise as well too, and just being able to support you that way. That way the next album cycle, they're able to see if they're going to enjoy that and repeat the cycle as well too. So yeah, just like you said, I can only imagine how taxing it is for a lot of musicians right now that isn't really getting that ego boost right now, and they're kind of questioning themselves.
Yeah, because I tell you, doing the live stream performances, wow, that sure doesn't do it for you. You just have this, after the song ends, you have this silence that's just deafening. You ever watch like UFC fighting on ESPN or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the fight is beginning, and the announcer is doing the big overly dramatic intro, and it's just so strange now, because when he does, after the 30-second intro, there's just silence. There's no audience applause, and the fighter's just standing there, uncomfortably in the silence.
Oh yeah, and that was also bringing me back all the way back to the early 80s with the Blues Brothers movie, when they have this huge intro and they're dancing and they're trying to get everyone excited in the crowd, and then the music stops and the audience is dead silent, not one clap, nothing, and just
Nothing.
I can only imagine what that's like being able to hear a song like that, and like something that people really do love, and then hearing absolutely no reception back.
Yeah, it's like psychic daggers to your soul,
Well, that's also why I'm glad to see that you were actually able to perform a show last month. I mean, it was great to see that you were able to get out there, even if it was for a smaller crowd, just being able to get out there and get some kind of reception out there in an acoustic setting. That's really cool of you to do that.
Yeah, I've done a few shows since the pandemic has been waning, mostly in the East Coast. Florida, which just said, screw you, I'm going to open up no matter what. They lifted their restrictions and asked us to come play, which we did. And we played Ruth Eckerd Hall, which is a state-of-the-art facility, and they went to great lengths to put in a new ventilation system, state-of-the-art ventilation system, and they had mandatory social distancing with people, and really took a lot of care to make it a safe environment for people to attend the show. And it was really well done. And we had a great time performing, and it was nice to dust off the old songs and put them to use and get out there and show off some,
Oh yeah, and you had every right to be able to show off in that case too. I mean, like being able to sit at home and getting a little antsy about like kind of like feeding the ego, wanting to make sure that people are still interested in what you're doing, and then when you're going out there and you're hearing new material, you're hearing the classic material, and knowing that people are enjoying it, that's got to be such a rewarding feeling.
Yeah, it is. It is a wonderful feeling, I have to say. We did on that same tour. It was just a couple shows. We did one in Florida, and then we went up to Derry, New Hampshire, and played the Tupelo Music Hall up there, which is always a good show for us. And they had to do something completely different, with their state laws, and they had to segment the audience into. I think we played 2 shows in one day, and then 1 show the next day to kind of split everybody up. So because that's how they had to limit the audience participation, And that was very strange, doing 2 shows in one day. I haven't done that in a long time. Quite challenging to get yourself up for the show, right? Twice.
Oh, yeah.
In the same period of time.
So, thinking about that, I mean, like you said, you haven't done that in a very long time, and, it's just like, that's got to be a strange feeling, being able to do 2 sets in one night like that. How do you feel those shows went? Do you feel like one show was better than the other, or did they both go well? How was that?
No, they both went really well. Yeah, the band played really well, and we were very well rehearsed, and, that really helps. I don't like to go into shows without being rehearsed, with the band and the crew. So I like to have a good sounding show, which is so important. And also, it's so difficult to know as a performer how you are sounding, because you don't know. You're not out in the audience. You can't hear what the audience is hearing. You never hear it. So you're just really at, you're just there, sort of a passive person at the hands of your sound man. You hope that they know what they're doing, or they have a good night. At least they're consistent.
Oh, very true. And yeah, I mean, you raised such a valid point on there, and you are like at the mercy at the front of house. You're at the mercy of the audience too. Like if they can hear everything right, and if they give a reception that they know everything is going okay. It's just like there's so many things that could really affect a show, but just the fact that you do have such a great array of talented musicians working with you, the right crew being able to work with you, and being able to talk back and forth to be able to get the right show with the venues that you go to. I mean, everything that I've seen as of late when it comes to that, I mean, it's great to see that, despite all the time being able to not playing the songs constantly, that you were able to like rest up and really being able to, or at least it came off to me like you were able to appreciate those shows more because you had that time off and you didn't have to worry so much about like going out night after night singing those songs.
Yeah, I never worry. No, I only worry at the first show of a tour, and then after that goes well. I worry a bit about the second show, because second shows are usually where everything breaks down. But then the third show is good. And from then on, it should be, pretty easy. I like to keep going. I don't like to take days off. I'm touring. I like to keep pushing it. And I get stronger as I go along. If I take days off, I get lazy and, and then I start into experiencing, decadent, excessive bad behavior, drinking too much, not waking up in time, that kind of thing.
Oh,
it's better that I don't have free time, I guess.
well, I definitely know coming up, as long as everything goes the way that it's supposed to. I mean, you're definitely going to be having your voice warmed up when you're able to show off Empire and Rage for Order, 2 amazing albums that you were a part of, and it's great to see that, again, as long as everything goes in the right direction, that you're going to be able to celebrate those in a live setting.
Yeah, I can't wait to show off again. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, it's just like, those are 2 of my favorite albums that you've been a part of, where you are a part of it the whole time, and it's great to see those getting such reception. I mean, obviously with Operation Mindcrime being such an amazing album as well too, and having that in the live setting, I mean, how is that for you? Like, when you, look back at Empire and you look back at Rage of Order in 2021, how do those albums hold up to you now?
I think they're pretty good sounding albums. Empire especially sounds really good to me, except it's really lacking in bass by modern standards. Modern records have such better bass recordings, I think. But it was state of the art for the 90s, and on every other frequency level, I think it sounds really good. And I think they're interesting songs, and they're fun to sing. And it's fun to sing all the songs. I didn't get to do that until this tour, celebrating the 30-year anniversary. There's lots of songs on Empire and Rage for Order that never got a chance to play live before, And so that's a real treat for me. I'm still enjoying singing a lot of that material and presenting it from my own, sort of enjoyment, really.
Oh, and I'm really glad to hear you say that too. I mean, I love the fact that you want to be able to go out and sing the songs that really didn't get that live representation, because both Empire and Rage for Order, for these two examples, have such great songs from start to finish. And obviously there's going to be the songs, there's going to be the classics, the live staples, but when you're able to throw in something that hasn't really been performed in a live setting or not performed in a long time, it's great to be able to mix things up like that.
Yeah, it is. Back when Queensryche was together, and we had there's a song on Empire called "Anybody Listening" that we tried for years to play live, and we just never could make it sound good, or we felt good about it. So we just never played it. We played parts of it, kind of screwing around, in live settings, but never actually played the whole song through. Well, so it's been a real treat to perform that song, because that's one of my favorites off that album.
Oh, same here. I absolutely love that song. So, thinking about that, I mean, when I'm thinking about it in my head, like, do you remember what the problem was? Was it like the song structure, or just like the tones not coming out right? Like, do you remember what the problem was?
Yeah, it's a strange feeling song. It's a weird time signature change that happens during the song. There's a tempo change that happens as well, which is difficult to capture live. It just always felt off, and so it happens. We just sometimes there's songs that the band just doesn't feel good about playing, and then if the band is a band long enough, sometimes they change their mind collectively and reapproach something, or maybe they play it with a different player involved, and all of a sudden the issue's fixed. There are all kinds of different things that can happen.
Oh, for sure.
A band is a dynamic entity. It's just not it's not possible for it to remain static. It has to keep changing. It's part of being a human being. We're not the same people we started out being, and a band is like that too. You have good days, you have bad days. You just try to have some sort of semblance of consistency, that works, and makes everybody feel good,
Oh, for sure. And I can relate to that so much. I mean, with previous bands, like, there's so many good times, there's so many bad times, bands breaking up, members changing, sometimes the full lineup changing, if you throw in a cover, what kind of song you're going to be doing, what kind of live shows you want to do, how long you want to be on tour for. I mean, there's so many things that are in the band and so many things around the band that can really affect it. But when you can get that right chemistry that's going on, when you got the right musicians you can play with, when everyone's kind of working on the same schedule, the same mind frame, being able to work towards the same goal, that's such a great feeling. And it's great to see that you have that going on here. And the fact that you are able to play Empire and Rage for Order, I mean, you can actually play this from start to finish now in 2021, and just having all the right things to make that happen. I mean, it took a while, but it's great to see that happen.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Oh, for sure. And, you know, again, just like, I love what you do so much when it comes to so many different environments. I mean, whether it's Sweet Oblivion, whether it's your solo work, whether you're guessing with Avantasia, which I absolutely love when you work with Toby. I think that's some amazing work that you're able to do. You know, all the other projects that you're a part of too, you know, just being able to work with all these different musicians, different styles, different writing ideals, and just being able to show off that, or show off, but, you know, just being able to portray, being able to portray yourself and show others that you can do what you need to do to make a song better when you're able to apply your vocals to it, whether it's in the live setting or in the studio. And, you know, the fact that you're still able to do that in 2021, whether it's brand new music with Sweet Oblivion, whether it's going out and playing 2 phenomenal Queensryche albums, it's great to see that you have all of that going on.
Yeah, and I never really thought of it that way, Josh. Thanks. You kind of opened my eyes to the term show off.
Unintentionally, but
yeah, I'm gonna not let up on that for you.
Oh, that's quite all right. I totally understand that. But, you know, with that in mind, I thank you very much for taking this time to be able to talk to me once again, being able to promote brand new Sweet Oblivion album Relentless coming out in April through Frontiers Music, and of course the live shows that will be coming up with being able to play Queensryche's Empire and Rage for Order. Those just sound like they're going to be incredible shows, and the fact that you've been able to get that in that live setting now is just amazing to see, and it was great to be able to catch up with you again, and I can't wait to see what you got going on in the future down the road. Well,
thanks for the interview again, Josh, and let's try to do this more frequently.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, anytime you got something to promote, I'd love to be able to talk to you again, and I was going to say show you off again. But, you know, just like, yeah, it'd be great to be able to catch up and, you know, just talk about promotion, just to keep some good stuff going.
All right. Well, take care of yourself, and thanks again, man.
Oh, not a problem. You have a great rest of the day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.